It's an all-star studded weekend in Chicago. The Braves first baseman Freddie Freeman brings his extra base hitting talents to Wrigley Field in Chicago to meet the Chicago Cubs trio of all-stars, headlined by Starlin Castro, 26 doubles, 5th most in the National League, and Freddie Freeman's first base counterpart, Anthony Rizzo, named to the all-star team yesterday for the Chicago Cubs. 20 homers, 2nd most in the National League. The Braves and Cubs are ready to rock and roll this afternoon. We welcome you to Chicago, Illinois, the city of big shoulders, the Windy City, and the wind is blowing in today at Wrigley Field, the corner of Clark and Addison, where the Braves and Cubs wrap up the first half of the 2014 Major League season. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. The Braves back in the win column. They're back in first place as well, and they've already swept the Cubs once this year. Another sweep would certainly be nice starting today. Hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson, Chip Carey. Welcome back to Wrigley Field. The wind is blowing in, a pitcher's delight, and Alex Wood can use any luck he can get as he gets the ball for the Braves in the series opener today.
He'll take any help he can get. Get him some runs early, and let this guy coast for one time. He's got the 4th lowest run support in all of baseball, but boy, does he have good stuff. If he can get through a rough first inning, which sometimes plagues him, he should be fine today. Day game, tough on the hitters. Alex Wood, tough on everybody. 3-6 in his 10 starts. It ought to be a whole lot better than that when you've got an ERA of 2.77, 2 earned runs or less, and 8 of his 10 starts. He's been outstanding. Again, run support. Get him some runs and get him some early.
Hey, may be tough to come by for Jake Arrieta's the man on the mound for the Cubs, and he is dealing. Hey, it might be, it could be, it is. Time for a break. First pitch and starting lineups from Chicago coming up right after this. week here on Fox Sports South. Today the Braves begin their series with the Chicago Cubs at historic Wrigley Field. Friday afternoon baseball on Fox Sports South is brought to you by our friends at Blimpie. It is a perfect afternoon for baseball, a bit overcast, and the wind is blowing across the field and slightly in from right to left. That should favor the pitchers and perhaps the right-hand hitters if they can get one under the slipstream and hit it under radar to left center field. Here's the Braves batting order presented by Toyota. A day off for B.J. Upton. Freddie Gonzalez wants to utilize his bench a little more, so Jordan Schaefer gets a start. Told you about Freddie Freeman, the Braves all-star. He's at first base. Let's see what Jason Hayward and Chris Johnson can do against the Cubs. Chris had a big series back in Atlanta when the Braves swept all 3 games.
And red-hot Jake Arrieta is on the mound. 28 years old, 6'4", 225, out of TCU. Originally with Baltimore, got traded over here last year. But take a look at this. Last 7 starts, an 0.99 ERA. That's not a bingo number. That's his ERA. 4-0 with a 161 ERA, 5-1 on the year, and the lowest cumulative ERA since May 1 when he came back from the DL after having some tendonitis in his shoulder in spring training. That ERA 1.78. His 4 keys to pitching success. This guy's given up 2 home runs in 70 innings, so for him, stay down in the zone. And he will do that today with a fastball, cutter, and changeup and slider. And he is, as I just told you, hotter than a dancing bobcat.
And Jordan Schaefer leads off and takes strike, says Brian Honora. When you're first in the National League in anything from the pitching standpoint and you're doing better than Clayton Kershaw, you are dealing. Marietta is doing that. Missed outside for an even count.
Good lively fastball. Tops out at about 96. So last one at 94. And again, he'll throw a cutter off that. Boy, does he have some downhill leverage. Uses his height well.
That's fouled at the plate. Count 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Braves did not take batting practice today for good reason. The ball club got to our team hotel in downtown Chicago around 2:30 this morning. A very quick turnaround, of course, with the 3 o'clock local time start today.
Yeah, 3:30 body time.
And a ground ball right side. Rizzo boxed it. Arrieta to the bag. He can't handle it. And Schaefer's aboard on what could be a double error. We'll have to wait and see. The error is on all-star first baseman Anthony Rizzo.
Could have been in between hot, but it ate him up. I didn't think they were going to get him after that move, but even Arrieta couldn't make the catch.
That's the 8th error for Rizzo. And Schaefer, with a perfect slate in the stolen base department, has a chance to run against Wellington, Castillo, and Arrieta.
And a lot of steals against the Cubs this year.
Anderton keeps on keeping on in the number 2 spot for the Braves. And that one almost thrown away. Rizzo had to jump over Schaefer to make the play.
I don't know if he got his front foot stuck trying to get it around there, but it might have been called a balk too because he didn't really step to first. Nice save by Rizzo. Now a good pitch to run on.
Joe's point's a good one about the Cub defense. They have allowed 71 stolen bases this year. Schaefer a perfect 11 for 11. He's going. And the pitch is low. The throw to second, not close. Schaefer is in safely with a steal. You could see that coming from a mile away, couldn't you?
And when a pitcher almost throws one away, I was really surprised he even went over on the next time he came set. But it was a real simple throw. He didn't want to risk throwing it away again. take advantage of that virtually every time, and he got an excellent crossover step for his first step.
So now the Braves have gotten him on and over. Can they get him in? This was the big problem for the Braves in the series against the New York Mets. Simmons might be the right man in the right spot. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Doing a great job in the 2-hole numbers wise, average on base percentage, getting on to have the other guys drive him in. This is a situation where he's assigned a task to get that runner over.
So Arrieta already out of rhythm in the first inning. Needs to cash it in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That ball's pulled to the left side. Mike Olt with the play, and an unproductive out for Andrelton. Schaefer still at second. Now 1 out for Freddie Freeman. Braves were 5 for 39 in New York with runners in scoring position. 0 for 1 so far today. Here's Freddie. He's up to 50 runs batted in before the break at a 299 mark.
Excellent series in New York, 7 for 17.
Schaefer's going to try to steal third, and he's going to be out. First time all year Schaefer's been thrown out on the base paths trying to steal a base, and there's the second out of the inning.
He did not get a good jump. In fact, he had his weight kind of on his left foot when Arrieta went to the plate, and while the tag was on his back, I'm not even sure that it might have been a bang play. I didn't like that there with 2 outs and an 0-2 count, or, you know, something like that. Okay, but not with Freddie Freeman up there. Give him a chance to grab you in.
So the base is empty for Freddie. He's 3 for 12 against the Cubs back in Atlanta. He did not swing. No matter which way the wind blows in this ballpark, for hitters like Freeman who can hit the ball the other way, Wrigley Field is tailor-made. If you hit the ball to the 368 mark in left center field as a left-hand hitter, you can run forever. And he tried to hit it to left there and fought it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Search is on for the souvenir. Freddie didn't get it. And Arrieta is out of trouble in the opening inning. An error, a stolen base, a caught stealing, and Atlanta's out of luck in the top of the scoreless first.
For 12 until he got thrown out at third base. But watch what happens. The difference between a good crossover step and a bad one. Watch this. As Arrieta goes to the plate, his right foot was in the air. He actually had his weight on his left foot, so then his right foot's in the air to cross over and go. Might have been the difference in him being safe and out. Would have been a smarter idea to hold up.
So nothing doing for the Braves in the first. Here come the Cubs. And Toyota presents their starting nine. A couple of all-stars back-to-back. Rizzo and Castro both signed to long-term contracts. And they're very excited about the kid at the top of the order, Arismendi Alcantara, who's leading off playing second base.
Alex 6-7 on the year. Has had some trouble in the first inning in his 10 starts, and opponents at a 298 clip. They're hitting a lot less than that overall. 4 long balls too. His Ford Keys has more to do with lack of run support. Help! I need somebody. Somebody get some runs across for the guy. Bless his heart. And Central Casting, he's 3-0.
Fly ball to left, and that's playable for Justin. He's got it. Alcantara's retired, 1 down.
3-0 with a 1.35 ERA against the Central Division.
Here's the Braves defense. Infielders will love playing in Chicago. The thick infield grass gives them an extra step to handle those hot shots. First chance for Tommy La Stella to play here. Same for Christian Bethancourt. As Ruggiano, the second place hitter for the Cubs, digs in for the first time today. Justin having a solid year at 282. And Bethancourt got popped on the shoulder. He's had a couple of those in his young big league career and might need some help. Was it the shoulder or somewhere else?
Looking like at the side of his head, even in his ear. Like he turned a little bit. No, that got him on the ricochet. After it hit his shoulder, it came up and hit him either in the jaw or the ear. Good shot of it here. Ricochet up and in under the mask. Oh my goodness. Taped up just in case. Jeff Porter doing some tests on his jaw. Watch it come off of the left side of his, right side to us, off the chest protector, and then up behind the mask into his jaw. Freddie Gonzalez, former catcher himself, he certainly can relate.
Couple of tosses for Bethancourt, who says he's good to go. One ball, one strike for Justin Ruggiano. He's riding an 8-game hitting streak, but is hitless in his last 2 ball games for the Cubs. We've always liked this guy.
Yeah, it's because he was very impressive for the Marlins last year. Seemed to always have a good game against Atlanta and played good defense.
Way outside, it's a full count.
Alex's last start, another good one against Arizona, and he got beat 3-1. Only 1 run of support. He gave up 2 runs in 7 innings.
That's it to third. Chris Johnson with the toss across in time. And there's out number 2. Bethancourt took a shot here in the opening inning, but the Braves hoping to get Evan Gattis back in the near future. Right, Tom?
Yeah, taking a step forward, Chip. He's with the Rome Braves, so he's not making a minor league rehab assignment. With clearance from the doctor yesterday down in Atlanta with Gwinnett out of town, they sent him up to Rome, the State Mutual Stadium, just to get some swings in and some workouts with the team. Still a ways to go before it gets back, but still a very good sign. They didn't want to fly him all the way back up here in this ballpark, and as you well know, in the visitors' clubhouse, there's just not room for a big white bear.
There's not room for anything.
And I think the Braves want to make it clear that he's not there to play too, Tom. Just there to work out for fans who might expect him to be there on the rehab.
Rizzo takes one inside. Didn't enjoy that yesterday when the Cubs faced the Reds. And Aroldis Chapman were doing some chirping yesterday. Which is bounced toward third. And Chris had Rizzo played perfectly. And Alex Wood has a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning.
Here at Wrigley Field as the Braves look for a quick turnaround, and that task even tougher. It's one of the hottest pitchers in baseball, Jake Arrieta, on the mound for the Cubs. Chris Johnson said that will help the Braves focus with this early start today.
Yeah, because we got to dial it in. If we don't, then we're in trouble because he's been throwing the ball really well. And so we've got to try to focus, try to do all the little things, get guys on, get them over, get them in, and take advantage of opportunities that he gives us when he gives them to us.
But as we take a look at our Coors Light cold hard facts, the Braves have not been doing the little things. They haven't done them all season. The lowest success rate advancing runners. The Braves are third worst in all of baseball at 37%, a couple percentage points below the major league average. Chip, you mentioned they were 5 for 39 with runners in scoring position that Met series. They had 14 strikeouts with runners in scoring position. Not only that, they just haven't gotten even productive outs as a whole.
I think that's the key, Tom. I really do. I think the fact that in the 9-game winning streak, they were moving runners up.
There's a shot towards center. Lake goes back, and he's going to get there. What Wrigley Field gives you, she also takes away. The wind had an effect on that drive to center.
And Justin's hit the ball really hard on this trip. He had a good series in New York, going 6 for 18, but he had some balls too that were caught on the warning tracker up against the wall. But back to Tom's point, in the 9-game winning streak, remember there were guys picking up RBIs just hitting ground outs to the infield with the infield back, and Atlanta had a hard time doing that when they had opportunities in New York.
Jason Hayward takes a ball as he looks at Arrieta for the first time today. And now downstairs. Well, when you factor in that The Braves aren't hitting well with runners in scoring position, and they aren't hitting home runs. It's easy to understand, Joe, why they're not scoring many runs. Just one homer since June 29th. The Cubs in that same stretch have hit 13.
I know, and it is something that jumps out at you, but it's not anything at all that I even think twice about in terms of concern. It's a team loaded with power, and they're going to hit homers.
Hayward takes a little low. 3 balls and a strike. I agree. They're going to hit their share of home runs, but in concert with the lack of clutch, if you will, hits, offense has been tough to come by. Big cut. But a full count now for Jason. And Arrieta got him to swing and miss. 2 strikeouts for the Cubs right-hander. 2 out.
Target was away. The cutter was down and in. Might have been a slider as much as that was breaking. Doing the cutter earlier in the count. He went 6 innings, only gave up 1 run to Washington his last time out. Struck out 5.
You mentioned the great run that he's on. You go back 3 starts ago, he carried a perfect game into the 7th inning against the Reds. 2 starts ago, he carried a no-hitter through 7 2/3 innings against the Red Sox, a series that the Cubs swept. And then had his 6th straight quality start last time out against Washington in a game that they lost 2-1.
29 and 28 career record. So it's like all of a sudden he's found something that's working. And by and large, it's throwing strikes, good command, keeping the ball down.
Just like that. Chris Johnson caught looking. 3 strikeouts through 2 innings for Jake Arrieta, and no score at Wrigley. That pretty much says it all, doesn't it? They've been playing baseball here at the corner of Clark and Addison for 100 years. And it's our lone visit to Chicago this weekend. The Braves and the Cubs. And a big crowd here on a rather cool, breezy July afternoon.
And big news from the city council yesterday, right?
All the renovation plans that the Cubs have been trying to push through were unanimously passed, which is great news for the Cubs organization. But the folks who own the rooftops and some of the establishments beyond the brick walls, not so happy about it.
Yeah, they're going to be in for a rude surprise, especially out in left field where there's plans for a big scoreboard and an elevated
set of stands.
And that, I think, is the ultimate challenge for the Cubs. Can they make this 19th century place relevant in the 21st century? They're trying everything they possibly can. They've done a lot of renovations. From foul pole to foul pole in the outfield, they've done a wonderful job of adding restaurants and restrooms and the video boards that fit in very nicely with the overall architectural feel. Starlin Castro bats and lines one out of play. But the old scoreboard, there's no replay board. All the other signage and obviously, Joe, the revenue that comes along with that is missing here. The Cubs need that, they say.
Certainly get that by comparison to modern stadiums.
As Castro's down swinging, Alex Wood made him look silly with his first strikeout of the game.
Took a little off. Slow breaking ball. Got him to chase. Castro has cooled off. Castillo has cooled off. Junior Lake is cool. So in the middle of their order, not swinging real well.
Castillo spent some time on the DL with rib cage inflammation. 6 homers, 26 knocked in for the year, and a .234 average.
Last 10 games. Not good numbers.
Make him put it in play, Alex. 2 balls and a strike. He did. In the air to center. Schaefer goes back. And Jordan's got plenty of room. A step shy of the track. And Castillo is out number 2.
I know Don Sutton has said for years about coming to the ballpark when he was pitching. When he would come to Wrigley Field, the first thing he did on the bus or however he came to the ballpark was check the flags on top of the scoreboard. And if they're blowing in, you knew you were probably going to have a good day. If they're blowing out, you needed to come up with a stomach ache or something.
Yeah. Well, back in those days, the Cubs had some unbelievably good hitters in their lineup, which would give you a stomach ache no matter which way the wind was blowing. One of them, of course, Hall of Famer Billy Williams, who did exactly that as a hitter. Every pitch he'd step out, look at the flags. He had a very simple approach. Hit it high, watch it fly. Hit it low and watch it go. He's winning over 3,000 hits with the Cubs. Then he was from Braves country out of Whistler, Alabama.
A lot of places in the country would take that 77 degrees today.
Yeah, they're talking about a polar vortex coming to Chicago here, aren't they?
Yes. Has nothing to do with El Oso Blanco either.
So seasonably cool weather for Chicago this time of year. We'll take it. 1-2. Is again in the air. Shallow center. Schaefer is coming on, and he'll make the play. And Alex Wood has retired 6 straight Cubs to start his day in Chicago. No score. Chicago's north side. Time for today's Home Depot tools from the dugout. Look who is at the ballpark today. With the ceremonial first pitch, a Kansas Comet himself, Gale Sayers, 71 years young.
Best athlete in the ballpark is not in a baseball uniform playing today.
Threw a pretty good pitch.
What a thrill to see him.
That was Gale Sayers' number with the Bears. They have since retired it. Two-time NFL rushing champ, three-time Pro Bowler. And of course, if you've seen the wonderful movie Brian's Song, you know what Gale Sayers meant to humanity. And Brian Piccolo and his family in particular. He will be singing the seventh inning stretch today, so look forward to that. Tommy La Stella leads off the third inning for the Braves. What a treat for him. First month and a half in the big leagues. He's played in the two oldest parks, Fenway Park, where he debuted, and now Wrigley. He enters play today with a nifty .296 batting average. That's out of play to our left.
We saw Arrieta pitch against the Braves, but it was a couple of years ago, back in July of 2011, when he was with Baltimore, and he didn't fare well. He got beat and had an ERA for that game of 9, for what that's worth. But what he's doing right now is really impressive.
In the air toward left. That's Chris Coughlin near the foul line. And he makes the play as the wind tried to push that one into the stands. Fine effort for the former Florida Marlin.
Well, he's played for the Cubs long enough to know what's coming when he's getting that close to the foul line. There's very little room in foul territory, and he knew that even though it's padded, he was going to take a lump. Nice catch.
Where's Bartman when you need him?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not supposed to say that. Yeah, that's a real bad word, apparently. Here's Christian Bethancourt. He jumps the first pitch and drives that one down the right field line. Could he keep it fair? No.
But all the talk about Samardzija and Hamill being traded and Jeff Samardzija being the ace of the Cubs staff, well, maybe he wasn't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Jeff Samardzija is outstanding. Pitched a great game against the Braves at Turner Field. Got a no decision. But he wasn't pitching better than this guy. And he's been kind of assumed or written that this guy now has been elevated. He's the #1 guy, and he said, I don't mind it at all. I was in that role in college and accepted it. Just need to keep pitching well.
How about that offer? Christian missed it and is behind 0-2. If you can throw strikes in this ballpark, if you can get the ball down in this ballpark, you can be a big winner. Much was made years ago about the trio of Wood, Pryor, and Zambrano with the Cubs. It could be argued. There's the pitch to Christian. It could be argued that Carlos Zambrano was the best of that trio. He stayed the healthiest. He was a sinker ball guy with a power fastball in this park. Pryor, of course, derailed by injury. Kerry Wood, Tommy John as well. Served in a variety of roles for the Cubs. And maybe Arrieta's on the same career path that Zambrano was for Chicago.
That feels like the first pitch that he's elevated above the belt, and it may have been just for effect since he was ahead in the count.
He had thrown 11 straight strikes, but now it's a 2-2 count with 1 out, bases empty. Nice play, and Bethancourt's retired on a comebacker. 2 out. We talked about how good this man has been. Look at where Jake Arrieta ranks since the 1st of May.
And we use May 1st because that's when he came back from the disabled list. He missed the first month of the season. He's only in his 13th start today. But yes, best ERA in baseball.
As I said, if you're better than Clayton Kershaw right now, that's saying something. Kershaw's long scoreless inning streak came to an end last night at 41.
Yeah, that was a shame on a homer. He still won 2-1.
Yeah. Knowing Clayton, he's delighted with the win. The streak was incidental to the overall success for the Dodger club. As Alex Wood took a called third strike. That's 4 for Arrieta, who's faced the minimum through 3 innings. Nothing across for Atlanta so far today as we welcome you to Wrigley Field, game 1 of this weekend set. Bottom of the order up for the Cubs in the bottom of our 3rd inning from Wrigley Field, where all season long Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, the low price every day. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Braves.com for details.
Well, some of those shirts are bigger than others. But they come in all sizes here at Wrigley Field. Big crowd. This is a 60s weekend, is that right? I read somewhere that for this, what they are billing as the party of the century for this 100-year celebration of Wrigley Field, that this weekend has a little bit of a 60s tilt to it. Hence, Gale Sayers.
Like it. Nice. It's a remarkable place, folks. Chris Coughlin goes to work first for Chicago.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to play here. It was just coincidence.
That's trouble. Hammered toward right center field and deep. That ball is off the ivy. And Chris Coughlin continues to punish the Braves pitching staff. He stands at second with the first hit of this game. It's a leadoff double.
Ever since Chris Coughlin came up with the Marlins, he has pretty much owned the Braves. 350 career average, and he uses the whole ballpark. He doesn't hit a lot of homers against Atlanta, but he has, and almost hit one there.
Again, the wind saved Alex Wood there. Knocked it down below the basket in right center. And now Mike Olt is the hitter. He's the Chicago third baseman. He has a lot of power, but he doesn't make much consistent contact. Alarmingly high strikeout totals for Mike Olt. Comes in with 77 strikeouts and 175 at-bats.
Yikes. Just a 149 batting average. I suppose that's because they got nobody else play third base.
Coughlin's going to steal third, and he'll make it without a throw. Coughlin's had a history of leg problems, but he can steal a base, and he caught Alex napping there, and he's 90 feet away with nobody out.
Yeah, it's just his fourth of the year, but he picked the perfect time. Look at that. He was gone before Alex even broke to the plate because he didn't check him.
Here's how highly the Braves think of Arrieta's stuff in this game.
Yeah, they're playing in to try to cut off the run. Now, I know they've got a real good hitting young third baseman in the minor leagues. It was the #1 pick last year,
Chris
Bryant. And he's at Iowa, AAA. And maybe they're just really fighting not to bring him up and rush him since he was just drafted in the 13th draft. But he had a huge year last year and doing real well this year. And this guy's hitting a .149.
He was part of the Matt Garza trade that sent Garza to Texas around the deadline last year. And you're right about Chris Bryant. He's played in 91 games between AA and AAA. 91 games, 31 homers, 81 RBIs, and hitting .330 something. And Alex Wood just walked Olt. First and third with pitcher Arrieta coming up.
Wasn't a bad pitch. Brian O'Nora's behind the plate today, and he's a good umpire.
Arrieta 3 for 18 at the dish. Does have a double, 6 strikeouts, 2 sacrifices. Just want to see if he was thinking about a bunt, but he didn't tip his hand. That's our old pal Eric Hinsky in his first season with the Cubs. He's their first base coach. Arrieta pushes the bunt toward Freeman. No play at the plate. It's an RBI on a sacrifice. Perfectly executed by the Cubs. Olt to second. It's 1-0.
That's a way to manufacture a run. Leadoff double, stolen base, and then a safety bunt. Good timing by Coghlan to not break too soon. Waited till he saw the ball down, and with his speed able to get in there easily. No play. Nice job by Arrieta. Help himself.
So Alex Wood and the Braves down a run here in the third inning for Arismendi Alcantara. He had a big day yesterday against the Reds.
Weird how the last 2 starts for Alex, the pitcher has factored into a problem. Remember, he walked pitcher Wade Miley against Arizona, and then 2 outs later, Paul Goldschmidt hit a 2-run homer, and that was basically the ball game.
Alcantara, a 4-hit game against the Reds. He's the 4th Cub since 1914 to have a 4-hit game within his first 2 career big league games. And the first National League player to do that since Ian Desmond in 2009 against the Marlins for Washington. And strike. The way his talents were described to me before the game, they said Jose Reyes, similar skill set.
It's a little smaller than Jose. He's listed at 5'10". I think that's a big stretch.
A ball and 2 strikes. And Bethancourt smothered that at the plate. This man stole 25 bags for Iowa this year. He hit 10 homers and hit over 300 too. That is a little Jose Reyes like. Those are his first 2 right-handed bats of the season with the big league team. Pickoff play and back safely is Olt.
Alcantara really stepped up last year. He kind of middling along in the minor leagues, and then last year he put it together in Double-A at 271, but he had 15 homers, 69 RBIs, and stole 31 bases. And the Cubs suddenly had a wealth of middle infielders.
Baseball America earlier this year said the Cubs had 8 of the top 100 prospects in baseball. With their trade of Samardzija to Oakland, it is thought they have 3 of the top 6 now in all of minor league baseball. And a swing and a miss, a ball in the dirt. Bethancourt will throw out a fast man at first, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. And look, we know how the draft is in many ways a crapshoot. You have, as I said, 8 of the top 100, 6 of them are in the lower 50 of that 100. No guarantees. There's no guarantees anyway. But you have 3 of the top 6. Pretty good chance those 3 guys are going to turn into outstanding players. And that's what the Cubs are banking on.
Is one or more of those a pitcher?
They're all offensive players.
That's what I thought. They've got to shore up their pitching. And I understand they just traded away 2 starters. They traded away Jeff Samardzija, who would be a centerpiece to build your pitching around, but he obviously didn't want to pitch here. They made a nice offer to him that was somewhere in the $17 million a year range for 5 years. He turned it down. That says to me, I don't want to pitch here. So he was traded. They got some outstanding prospects, highly rated prospects in return. Maybe they can flip those guys.
Well, that's
for some pitching,
or convert those guys. I mean, it's thought shortstops are the best athletes on the field. That they
next
can
to center field,
exactly, and they can play anywhere on the diamond except center field because. But that's a great luxury for the Cubs too. Or if they have a surplus, obviously. Teams will pay a king's ransom for a talented offensive shortstop. That's still a ways down the road for the Cubs. Already have that man locked up long term to play shortstop here, Starlin Castro. That's tipped by Ruggiano. Tom?
Guys that I talked to that are familiar with their minor league system said that the plan is to have some movement. Chris Bryant, that great hitting third baseman that you guys talked about earlier, the big power guy, he's likely to go to a corner outfield position. They have Javier Baez, who's been a shortstop. He would go to third. And then you got Castro or Russell, who they got in the Samardzija trade, to fit in at short. But what you guys were talking about, when you have great athletes and come up as shortstops, it's much easier to move them, especially when they grow into their bodies. And if they're going to be big guys, they may not fit at shortstop in the near future.
Very good point. If you can play and you can run and do some things like it requires to play shortstop, that means you can probably play some other positions.
Ground ball out the middle. Simmons can't get it. Holt around third is going to score the second run of the day for the Cubs. Two Braves killers, Coughlin and Ruggiano, two former Marlins, have had a big hand in this two-run inning for Chicago.
This was a walk that came around to score here. Holt, who was hitting a .149, through the walk, went to second on that bunt, and now comes home to score. And Ruggiano stays hot. Hit .395 on their long road trip they just came off of.
Rizzo, first pitch swing, skies one to center. And Jordan Schaefer is there to retire the side. 2 runs, 2 hits, a big walk, and a safety sacrifice leads to a big inning for the Cubs. At Blimpie. The Cubs have struck first, 2 runs in the home third. They lead Alex Wood and the Braves in game 1 of the series by a 2-0 score. Fans, now it's time for you to tweet your photo using #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by our friends at AT&T. Lake Michigan off in the distance down the right field line here in Chicago. Gentle breeze blowing in has cooled things off. It's a delightful 77 degrees today. But plenty of heat generated by Jake Arrieta. He has struck out 4 Braves in his first 3 innings of work. The only Brave to reach is Jordan Schaefer, and that was on a Rizzo error to start the game.
Arrieta's out of Texas. He went to high school in Plano, Texas, which is one of the suburbs in the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth. And was a 5th-round pick in '07 by Baltimore.
Cubs acquired him in trade last July 2nd. Acquired Arrieta with Pedro Strop and 2 international signing bonus slots for Scott Feldman and Steve Clevenger, a catcher.
Do you know how those international slots work? I need to bone up on that.
Yeah,
maybe Tom knows.
Tom will know. I believe those slots have dollar amounts assigned to them. By acquiring those slots, you can increase the pool of money you can use to go sign international free agents. I may be wrong about that. And if so, I apologize, but that's my modest understanding of how those international slots work. You can trade them, which is something baseball has not allowed teams to do in its history, trading draft picks, trading draft slots. So that's, I guess, an experimental way of seeing if it works. So a leadoff walk for Schaefer. Let's see if he does some running. Anderson Simmons in the box. He bounced out to third. And he takes a strike.
Yeah, when Jordan got thrown out at third base, we showed you that replay of how he had his right foot off the ground when he broke, when he decided to go. You got to have your right foot down to cross over on. And typically when you steal third, you like to have a little movement going. You like to have a little momentum. You don't want to get caught flat-footed necessarily. And that's why it's important for the pitcher then to make you stop. But unfortunately for Jordan on that particular one, he had the wrong foot in the air as he was trying to get that momentum. And that just did him in. When that happens, you got to recognize that and not go.
Time called at the plate. Yeah, the real shame of Schaefer being thrown out. Braves had Freddie Freeman in the batter's box. Schaefer's already in scoring position with one out. After he was gunned out, Freeman struck out. Braves only had one base runner since. And now ball and a strike.
This is one of those times that I think has been helping Anderson because BJ's been getting on base so much, and his threat to run. Anderson's getting a lot more fastballs, and he's a pretty good fastball hitter if he'll make the pitcher get it down. Sometimes he'll chase up out of the zone, hop up.
Schaefer's running. The pitch by Arrieta is in the dirt, and no chance for Castillo. He drops the baseball, and Schaefer has his second steal of the day. Braves are now cooking in the fourth. Runner at second, nobody out.
An easy one when that pitch was down low and he's trying to come out of his crouch to make the throw. Not a good transfer.
There's a shot down the right field line. Will that baby stay fair? Yes, it will. And ricochets off the side wall. Schaefer had to hold to make sure it wasn't caught. And it's a double for Simmons. And the Braves have runners at second and third now with nobody out.
Nobody out. Hard hit ball the other way. Jordan's read on this is to be near the bag so that if it is caught, he can tag and advance to third. So you, in essence, get that runner over to third. Okay, well, he got caught near the bag where he couldn't advance all the way around to score. No harm done. Second and third. Nobody out here, and you still got the heart of your order up with Freddie and Justin. But that was the right play by Jordan there.
That was nicely played by Ruggiano, too. I can't imagine an outfielder gets many hops like that off a fence or a wall.
You expect it to go to the corner.
So great chance for the Braves to get something done here in the fourth inning. Second and third, nobody out. And a ground ball to second will get the first run of the day home for Atlanta. Schaefer will score. Freeman has his 51st RBI, and the leadoff walk comes home to roost. It's now a 2-1 game.
Great job. Great job. That's something the Braves weren't able to do in New York, especially that first game of the series against Dice K. Now the Cubs infield will come in.
Upton squared one up in the second inning. He lined out to center. Junior Lake caught up with it.
And that walk came home to roost.
call. Little squibber. Contact. Runners coming home, and he'll score without a play. That might be the shortest RBI in Justin Upton's big league career, but he'll take it. He brings home Simmons with a little dribbler toward the mound. And just like that, the Braves have given Alex Wood new life. It's a 2-2 game.
What a great read by Simmons. You know, he really doesn't have the kind of speed that you would just think automatically he's going on contact. But he read this beautifully off the end of the bat. Didn't even have to slide. Pays to have heads up base runners when you hit one right off the end of the bat like that.
Another RBI for Justin Upton. It's a 2-2 game. And Jason Hayward the batter. Jason struck out back in the Braves second. To second. And the peg to first in plenty of time. That'll retire the Braves. But Atlanta manufactures a couple of runs. That's a sight for sore eyes. Arrieta surrenders a 2-0 lead. We're now tied at 2. Fourth in Chicago, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey, and our international man of mystery, Tom Hart, has the answer on the international signing slots and how that works. So, Tom, let's send it to you now.
All right, Chip, with the steam company down here in the front row, by the way. In fact, the international signing period just started on July 2nd, and the pool is divided based on reverse order of winning percentage. So the Astros have a good chunk of money that they can spend. The Braves down at number 28. So here's the difference. The Braves with $1.89 million to spend, and their first pick is worth $495,000. That's a bonus pool, so it doesn't really matter. You can overspend if you want, and the only designations for picks is because those picks are tradable, so they needed to put a value on that. It's kind of like if you have two sons and you're talking about allowance and you give one, the better son, more allowance than the other guy, or vice versa. These guys are buying me hot dogs later.
Great.
Speaking of bodyguards. What a shocker to see a carry at the at Wrigley Field, huh?
Hi, Mom.
Oh, come on.
Take that.
Yikes. Starlin Castro with a shot toward right, and it's Schaefer who makes the play. And good communication with Jason Hayward.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, he was waving and screaming. But those fans sitting right behind him make it hard to hear sometimes out there.
I can't believe my kid just dropped a high mom on the audience. Can you believe that? Actually, that's the quietest I think I've ever seen him for a 3-minute period in their lives.
You know, there'll be a wrestling match down there in a minute because give allowance to the nice one or the good one, not to the other one.
I think they're talking. I think they're talking to Tom about his favorite movie, The Notebook.
I got it wrong. You would give the bad kid more money, like the Astros got their big money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the better one gets less money. The Cardinals have less to spend than anybody because they finished with a higher winning percentage. So who's the good kid and who's the bad kid? Quiet one always did something wrong, right? He's guilty.
I'm not going to say he's the bad. I am going to say he gets the more money. Okay, yeah.
We're going shopping after the game, Chip.
Tom,
let's get out of the middle right now, Tom.
Please. We've set a major league record for carries at Wrigley Field today. As that one pops away.
I don't know about that.
Well, we tied it.
Yeah.
Well, this is a special place for our family. It's always good to come back. Bittersweet memories in many ways, but many wonderful ones. So those two guys to see a game at Wrigley, a lot of fun for me too. As Wellington Castillo has a look back at the umpire and is struck out. 2 quick outs for Alex Wood here in the 4th inning.
As you said, new life for Alex. Good fastball down. Biting in on him a little bit. Now, I'm asking this question because I don't know, but I've heard something about, is there a Harry Carey Museum here?
There's a Chicago Sports Museum that's right downtown near the hotel at the Water Tower. Junior Lake popped up. And a great try by Freddie Freeman, who came to a skidding and sliding stop in foul ground down by the Braves bullpen. That was an amazing try. He got some help from his teammates in the pen too.
Always nice to have your guys nearby to help you out. That was a great effort. Tough play, especially with the wind.
But to answer your question, yeah, there's a new Chicago Sports Museum in the Water Tower.
Okay.
In the Water Tower shopping complex, whatever it's called. Right off Michigan Avenue.
Well, I'm sure he has a distinguished place in that.
Yeah, I think a few of his diaries might be in there. That made for interesting reading this spring.
What a life he had.
Oh boy. No balls, 2 strikes for Junior Lake. He was really amazing in that all those years Harry worked for the Cardinals. He came to Chicago. St. Louis and Chicago has a marvelous rivalry in just about everything. Worked for the White Sox and then made his way to the Cubs. Cubs fans hate the White Sox and the Cardinals with equal passion, and yet he made it work here on Chicago's North Side. Holy cow. Real proud of my granddad, and I miss him daily. Fifth inning in Chicago, 2-2 game. Chris Johnson, Tommy La Stella, and Christian Bethancourt coming up for the Braves. Chris struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. And that one whacked foul over by the Braves on deck circle. Strike one. This is the subject of our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard today.
He's always had good work and good luck against the Chicago Cubs. .348 average, just 1 point less than Ryan Braun. Braun and McCutcheon playing in the same division with the Cubs.
Off the plate, it's 2-1.
Four runs scored today, 2 by each team. 3 of them have scored on outs.
And on a windy day in this park, that makes it so much more important that you have your fundamentals in high gear from an offensive standpoint. It's going to take a titanic shot to hit a ball out today. That one won't work. Fly ball straight away center and playable for Junior Lake. And he's got it.
Not just Wrigley Field. This was a low scoring series in Atlanta back in May. The Braves won by scores of 3-2, 2-0, and 5-2. The total hits for the two teams, for the Cubs in the series, they only had 17 hits total in the 3 games. The Braves only had 21, and 9 of those were in the first game. So the pitching definitely dominated the series, and you can't expect low scoring here, especially with the wind blowing in.
And I think you made a great point before the ball game in our pregame comments. Just because the Cubs are 39-52, you can't overlook these guys. Their team ERA is 3.70. That is exceptionally respectable.
Yeah.
Castro had La Stella played perfectly at short. 2 outs. And they're keeping the ball in the ballpark. Arrieta today's getting ground ball outs, and they've got plenty of power in the bullpen as well.
Well, look at the strikeouts too. They've got some power arms. They are 39-52 coming into play today. All right, everybody says, well, the last place Cubs, another bad year for the Cubs, but they're doing some good things, even though they may be a little short-handed. Rich Renteria has taken over as the manager. He's really harped on fundamentals. We saw a good bunt put down by the pitcher earlier today that got a run in. But he knows that they've got to do the little things right to compete. And they're just 1 game under 500 at home.
At 19-20. Little fly ball again to center, and Lake will gallop in and put that away. 3 up, 3 down for Atlanta. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Tie game at Wrigley Field.
AT&T U-verse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
Oh, with any luck, that usher's going to kick Tom out.
No, they got their dogs, and I think the usher thought he saw some easy prey to peddle some brewskis too. And if that mic flag weren't showing, he might have.
He had me marked from 3 sections away. I don't know if the kids are old enough to have a cold drink, but they did buy my hot dog.
Wow.
Thanks, Carey family.
How about that? That's some of that allowance money.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Another freeloader. So Chris Coghlan leads it off for the Cubs. He's doubled and scored. Then Mike Holt, then the pitcher. Pronounce Chris's last name in a variety of ways. It's Coghlan on TV, Coughlin on radio.
You are hot today.
When your kid says hi, Mom on TV,
Yeah.
it just
What a setback.
took the wind right out of it. He'll be grounded. Pitched. Chris is downstairs. And a 3-0 count. Getting a little dark at the old ballpark. Lights are on.
People checking the radar.
And ball 4 inside. Leadoff man aboard again. Wood hasn't walked a ton of guys, but Joe, when he walks them, they always seem to come back and cause him big problems. You mentioned the game against Arizona, the walk to the pitcher, then the Goldschmidt homer. That was all the offense Arizona needed for Wade Miley that day, and Alex lost the game 2-1.
Well, like Mike Minor, he's also having some trouble with lefties. I'm not sure why that is, but left-handed hitters are hitting .275 against Alex, .343 against Mike Minor.
So the bottom part of the order up for Chicago. Olt, a 149 hitter, was walked in his first time up. When your offense isn't scoring many runs for you, you can't give the other team opportunities. And a couple given by Alex so far today. It's fouled at the top of the screen, straight back.
Among hitters all time baseball history that are in double digits in homers, he's on pace to have the lowest batting average in baseball history.
Wow. Nothing in 2 for Olt. Leads National League rookies with 12 homers. This is not at all a shot of a question, but I ask it respectfully. For a Cubs team with Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer and the sabermetric approach that they have for their ball club here and in Boston, how does this guy's offensive skill set fit for Chicago? Low on base percentage, big power, but high strikeout guy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's obviously playing good defense. He's made 5 errors, so he's been catching the ball. He's doing something to keep earning his spot in the lineup. You would think he's just keeping the spot warm, and I'm surprised that we haven't already seen Bryant.
He was a .258 career minor league hitter with 385 strikeouts and 1,244 minor league at bats. He's striking out half the time up here. That's not going to work. So Jake Arrieta with a sacrifice bunt that brought home a run. He hits here in the 5th. Tie game 2-2. Chris Johnson can almost shake hands with the Cubs pitcher as the pitch is being delivered. Watch how close he comes charging at third base. There's the bunt, and it was a good one. Wood has one play, and he makes it to first. A 1-4 sacrifice. Chris Coughlin at second base, and back to the top of the order we go.
Two good bunts. First one resulted in his first RBI of the year.
Here's Wendy Alcantara. 22 years old. Cubs signed him as a non-drafted free agent in 2008. He's played at every level of the Cubs minor league system. 7th best prospect by Baseball America for the Cubs at the start of the year. And here he is, leading off and playing second base. Which begs the question, what do they do with Darwin Barney, who's a Gold Glover and was on paternity leave for the Cubs?
And has a little bit of an injury too that has been nagging him, but I would say with the need for leadoff hitters around baseball, if he shows well here, maybe swipes a base or two, his value will shoot up and may be the guy to play second base for the Cubs. Darwin Barney, not a leadoff hitter.
We saw a different man leading off for the Cubs back in Atlanta in early May, Emilio Bonifacio, but he's hurt. Also saw Ryan Kalish bat first in one of those games back in Atlanta. And Bonifacio was a big loss. He was playing good ball for the Cubs until he got hurt. Now Alcantara's got a 3-0 count. Bonifacio out with an oblique strain. He got hurt June 13th. He's missed 28 games now for Chicago.
Make a good pitch here. Even though you got a base open, I mean, this guy just got called up. Struck him out his last time up. You can come back and get him and have Ruggiano lead off the next inning.
He lost him. That's ball 4 inside. Third walk of the game, second of the inning, and now you have to face Ruggiano with 2 on now and 2 out. Ruggiano has an RBI hit. His 18th RBI of the year.
Alex also walked 3 in his last start against Arizona. His career high is 4.
Cubs got Ruggiano in a trade with the Marlins for Brian Bogusevich. That was right before Christmas last year. They got popped there. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's a good deal. This guy, I like this guy a lot. what I've seen of him. He's got some pop, right-handed. He is an excellent defender, either in center or in the corners.
He hit a deceptively low 222 last year, but that's only part of the story. You might recall Ruggiano had a viral problem that he tried to play through. He had an 0 for 42 hitless skid last year with the Marlins.
He's 5 for 18 as a pinch hitter for the Cubs this year, too.
Ruggiano was originally a Dodger farmhand, then went to Tampa Bay. Spent a long time with Durham. Finally got to the Rays in 2011, with the Marlins in 2012 and all of last year. His first year with the Cubs. 2-0 count. Hammered down the left field line. That's trouble if fair. It's foul.
Well, the way that kid can run, that might have been a 2-run extra base hit.
See where he ended up by the time Upton got to the ball. He was a step shy of the third base bag, it appeared. He was flying.
You mentioned people likening him to Jose Reyes. I asked some people today, they said, I mentioned Rafael Furcal. They said, yes, only smaller.
I love the speed factor. I love that it's coming back in the game. I love that it's becoming more and more important. I love the pitcher, base runner, catcher, cat and mouse game. It's been fun to watch. Pickoff play again to second. Conley's back safely. And in this ballpark, I think that's going to be critical for the Cubs if they're going to be successful. You cannot live and die with home runs in Wrigley Field. What did someone tell you today about the wind patterns this year?
That only maybe 4 times so far this year has the wind been blowing out. Everything else has been in off the lake.
Two balls and a strike. Result evens the count. Alex Wood took care of Ruggiano.
Good work.
Pitched around a couple of 5th inning walks and stranded 2 Cubs. We're tied 2-2 here in Chicago. evening here at historic Wrigley Field in Chicago. This is the 100th anniversary of this magical baseball cathedral. It was originally built as the home for the Chicago Federals of the old Federal League. In 1914, the Federals finished a game and a half behind the eventual champions. Are you ready for it, Joe? The Indianapolis Hoosiers.
No way.
The manager was Joe Tinker, he of the Tinker to Evers to Chance infield of baseball lore. And the owner of the club was Charles Wiegman. This ballpark was then known as Wiegman Park. It was built for the old Federal League. And when the Federal League disbanded, the Cubs moved in. And the rain has moved in. It's begun to drizzle here in the 6th. And Alex Wood with a bunt try. Arrieta with a slip and a wide throw at first, and that hit Alex in the back, I think. And he'll be at first base with a very painful leadoff opportunity and a hit.
His first of the year. He doesn't mind.
That's his first career hit. He'll never forget it.
Gonna need that baseball. Where'd it go? Alex is watching the really stretching a little bit. Did they get the ball already?
I didn't see it get tossed out of play.
Yeah. Yep. Bubba's got it. Way to go, Alex.
And a swinging strike to Jordan Schaefer.
Nice bunt. Oh, right in the back. That's it.
So Alex and his chiropractor will always remember that first big league hit. And Schaefer bats. Jordan's done a good job leading off today. And he tries to bunt. And Castillo's going to throw off stride and got his man at first. Wonderful play by the Cubs catcher to call off the pitcher and get a fast runner for the first out.
Boy, that was a bold move at that point because it looked like Arrieta was the guy who was going to get to it first. Nice play by Castillo. Got a lot on that throw too.
It was ruled a sacrifice. So Wood in scoring position for Andrelton Simmons, who has doubled and scored today. Castro plays the convenient hop and throws the strike to first. Wood at second now, but 2 out and a base open. Let's see how the Cubs face Freddie Freeman here. Freddie in his major league career has been so good picking up 2-out RBIs. This would be a great spot for one in the 6th. He checked to swing, ball 1. Freeman this year with 16 2-out RBIs. That's second most on the team. Justin Upton has 19 2-out runs batted in. Fly ball hammered center. Lake on the run, still going back. That ball's off the base of the wall. Freddie Freeman does come through with a 2-out double, and the Braves are back in front. It's a 3-2 score.
And Alex Wood helps himself. Look at everybody. So fired up for him to get his first hit. And not only that, scored the go-ahead run thanks to Freddie Freeman. I'm a little surprised they pitched to him myself. 2 RBIs today. He's up to 52.
Now Upton looks for a 2-out run scoring chance. And he looks at a ball low. Joe mentioned earlier a couple of the runs in this game have come on outs. Upton provided one of those in the 4th inning. Braves had the first 2 runners aboard. 3 consecutive groundouts tie the game. And now a shot to third is speared by Olt. And his throw to first isn't plenty of time. The Cubs pitched to Freddie Freeman, and he made him pay with a shot to straightaway center that scored Alex Wood. The Braves lead 3-2 in the 6th. To the bottom of the 6th inning. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. With Tom Hart and Joe Simpson, Chip Carey back with you here at Wrigley Field. Final 3 games before the All-Star break. Then we head home for a nice long homestand after the All-Star festivities in Atlanta. We hope you'll join us on Sunday, July 27th. The Padres will be in town. Get to the ballpark early to participate in a very special viewing party. The gates open at 1 to watch Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, and Bobby Cox get inducted into Cooperstown on Braves Vision. Don't miss this memorable Braves event Sunday, July 27th. Everyone in attendance will receive a limited edition Hall of Fame poster. So while Wood continues his warm-ups, let's check out our AT&T Universe trivia question today from Chicago. And today's question is, who holds the Braves franchise record for most career hits at Wrigley Field?
Oh, I like this one. That could be Johnny Logan. You know, I mean, that could be from any one of the 3 sites the franchise has been located.
Well, you said it was it's Atlanta Braves, right? Just the Atlanta
Did it say
Braves?
Atlanta?
Is it just it's just Atlanta?
Oh.
So it's not going to be Johnny Logan.
Okay, so I don't really like it.
You don't like this question? I'll bet you it's not Chipper Jones. If memory serves, he did not like hitting at Wrigley Field for some reason. And there are some guys who felt that way. As the rain starts to come down a little stronger now. Rizzo, Castro, Castillo coming up. Alex Wood paints a corner.
Good pitch. He made a good pitch with a low fastball back in the 4th inning when he struck out Castillo. PNC pitch tracks. Rizzo thought it was low. And then so what? Swing it back.
He did. Should have been taken there. That's off the Gate and right. And Rizzo will huff and puff and make his way to second base with a leadoff double. Third leadoff man aboard for the Cubs today. Second time they've done it with a 2-base hit.
Oh, got that one up. Let's just be happy that stayed in the ballpark. Spinner in the middle of the plate. Be happy it's a double.
So the tying run in scoring position in the Cubs' 6th inning. Here's Castro. He is struck out and fly to center. This guy can hit, and he has a lot of them. And that one's deflected off of Chris Johnson and off of Andrelton Simmons, and that'll be an infield hit. Castro has the most hits by any shortstop in the big league since 2011. That's number 656.
It had a good chance of being a 5-6-3 out if Andrelton had handled the ricochet cleanly. May have hit the lip of the grass and caused the problem. Anyway, you were talking about the Hall of Fame watch party, Chip, as Roger McDowell goes out to give the bullpen a chance to start loosening up. The Braves are sending a huge contingent, as you would expect, from the front office and scouts and assorted others and families, so it's going to be well represented at Cooperstown when those 3 guys go in. But one of the guys that's not going to be able to go, that was invited to go, that I want to send, and I know you do too, some get well wishes to, is Pete Van Wieren, who's under the weather a little bit, and I bet you Pete's watching today, and hope you're feeling better, Professor.
Wood ran the bases last half inning and scored the 3rd run for the Braves. 2 on and nobody out. Wellington Castillo is the catcher. This would be a great spot for a ground ball at somebody. Castillo's hit into 5 double plays in 203 at bats. Shea Simmons is up in the 6th. That's a good approach. 0-2.
Just watching Shea warm up down the line, and you know how the bullpens are just kind of crammed into foul territory down each line, but the fans are sitting right there. And I remember as a kid going to AAA games in Oklahoma City and watching the guys warm up in a similar bullpen and wondering, how in the world does anybody ever hit these guys? They're throwing so hard, and when you're that close to see it, it's pretty intimidating.
And on an 0-2 pitch, Alex Wood just hit the Cubs catcher.
That hurts. Boy. Oh, he got him right in the back of the elbow, too. Only the 2nd hit batsman of the year, and it came in a bad count.
So tough times now. The Cubs have the bases loaded, nobody out. Junior Lake is the hitter. He's hitless on the afternoon. He has not been very productive this year with runners in scoring position. He's hitting just 135 in this situation. Bethancourt putting the brakes on Alex Wood here. Rizzo at third, Castro at second, Castillo at first. One. That was a Sammy Sosa-like swing. Lake wears Sammy's old number.
Good changeup. Well located. Excellent motion and a good spot. Dying down and away. And rain's beginning to pick up a little.
Will he triple up?
Why not? Especially if you can locate it a little bit off the plate. With that kind of swing, ball going down and away a little bit, might be a good chance of a comebacker.
Lake is ice cold. He's 1 for his last 21 at the plate. Davenport smothered that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A leadoff double, an infield hit, and a hit batsman. Didn't get the change up and snaps the bat in half in frustration.
Boy, what good change ups to get him to swing and miss, and then the frustration. What's your bats now? More than $8.99, aren't they?
So a big first out for Alex. Now he's got to tame Chris Coughlin. He's doubled, scored, and walked. Can get out of this. Wow.
Alex making sure that he knew who was covering at second if the ball's hit back to him. Got to know that.
Good start. Strike 1. Fourth at bat this year for Coughlin with the bases loaded. He's 0 for 3 so far.
As a pitcher, one would guess that bases loaded, nobody out. You get the first out on a strikeout, you get kind of rejuvenated, thinking, you know what, I might be able to get a ground ball here and get out of this. But at the very least, you feel like you might be able to get out of the inning, maybe allowing 1 run. That would tie the game at worst.
Shot into right field, a base hit. That'll score Rizzo. Castro to third will be stopped as Jason got to it quickly. So Chris Coughlin does it to Atlanta again. He ties the game with a shot to right field. His 11th RBI of the year.
He saves his best for Atlanta. There's no question about it. It looked kind of like a cutter. I don't think it was a fastball. It may have been. Broke his bat, but just out of the reach of Tommy La Stella.
So after 93 pitches, Alex Wood will be taken down. He will leave the bases loaded for the Atlanta bullpen in a 3-3 game. For Alex Wood, he picked up his first big league hit and scored what proved to be the go-ahead run for Atlanta. The bad news is the Cubs have tied him up in the 6th inning, and he's out of the game with the bases loaded and Shea Simmons on in relief in his 20th game, and another mess for this youngster trying to clean up.
Shea's been outstanding. 15 inherited runs or base runners. He's only allowed 3. He worked in one game in New York, an inning and a third, a hit, 2 walks and a strikeout.
And Mike Olds will be taken down. Luis Valbuena will come in. The Cubs have a platoon situation at third base. Old plays against the lefties, Valbuena against the righties. And that missed the corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Valbuena at 251, 5 homers, 24 driven in. He'll strike out 2. He's got 62 of them in 259 at bats. And no place to put him. It's a 2-0 count. Run, 3 hits, and a hit batsman for the Cubs in the 6th. And now he's got to throw a strike. Well, the Cubs will take the lead. Arrieta is on deck for Chicago.
Let's see how Rich Renteria plays this. See if he gives him a green light with the pitcher on deck.
Low. A walk to Valbuena scores Castro, and the Cubs lead 4-3. Castillo to third, Coughlin to second, Valbuena at first, and now Arrieta can stay in the game, hit for himself as he's ahead by a run.
I never would have guessed that from Shea, especially on 4 straight pitches. He bunted a run in earlier. Let's see if they try it again.
He showed it, but pulled the bat back, and it was called a strike. healthy cut.
Yeah, there was no sign of any attempt at a squeeze there. Does have 3 hits on the year since he came back, and one of those hits is a double. And now he's the guy with new life. PNC pitch tracks. Rode in on him. Bucket still had the plate, but Brandon Norris sitting right on that inside corner. Should have had a good look at it.
Now it's 2-2.
Far enough. It's a pitcher. Go after him.
He did. And Ariana's retired on a live fastball. There's the second out of the inning. Now back to the top of the order we go. Alcantara's the hitter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Two in the third for Chicago, 2 for them here in the 6th. Those runs came in the 4th and the top of the 6th as well.
This guy's 4-hit day yesterday came left-handed.
First 3 times up there today, the first 3 plate appearances hitting right-handed for the Cubs. No balls and a strike. And the breaker missed low, even count. That's a pretty pitch. Four on the corner will work again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Not a whole lot different than the pitch was called a ball a minute ago.
One ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded. The pitch is cued at the plate. Had him off stride, but Alcantara was able to make enough contact to keep the at-bat going.
That's the off-speed pitch he throws, and I believe is a split-finger pitch. He doesn't throw it too often, but it's been pretty effective for him when he's used it. Almost got out of the inning with it right there. Good pitch.
Center, but right at Jordan Schaefer, and that retires the side. The Cubs, though, sent 8 to the plate. 2 of them score, and they're back in front 4-3. Jason Hayward leads our Delta Airlines on-deck trio in a tight game in Chicago. Time for our Blippy game summary as we head to the top of the 7th inning. 1-run game. It's been a seesaw affair. The Braves have broken through for a brief lead, but now it's Chicago by a run.
And the Braves have actually done some damage against Arrieta, who had come in so hot. But he's regained the lead. Freddie Freeman already with a couple of RBIs today, including a double to straightaway center. But Chris Coughlin, the age-old Braves killer from his days in Miami, doing it again today.
Luis Valbuena takes over at third base for Mike Olt. Alex Wood went 5 1/3 innings. We're told it's only the second time in the last 9 games that Braves starter failed to pitch 7 innings. So just a 1-run game as Hayward, Johnson, and LaStella come up. Line drive. That ball's going to get down and go to the wall. Beautiful swing by Hayward. He's on his way to second base. A lead-off double in the Atlanta 7th.
Come right back. Get that tying run in scoring position. The Braves have done a good job of manufacturing runs today. Backdoor cutter right down Jason's alley. That is, I mean, you typically think of somebody's wheelhouse being middle in. His is middle away, and that was perfect for him to get extension and drive it.
3 days ago, maybe he rolls that ball to the right side, right?
Yeah, he had a good series in New York, but it came late in this series. 6 for 17 there.
So that's the 4th Atlanta hit of the game. The Braves have hit 3 doubles. Their other hit, an infield single by their starting pitcher, Alex Wood. Again, going back to our earlier theme, doing little things well in tight games. At the very least, Chris Johnson's got to find a way to get Hayward to third base here. This is 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
We all know that Chris likes to inside out the ball. When a guy throws hard like Arrieta and it works you away, it's hard to get the barrel to the baseball if you're thinking inside out on something hard away. You'd rather the ball be middle in to kind of fight it off.
Down the right field line, but that ball is slicing foul by a foot or so. That was close.
Man, Luciano is making some super plays off the one-hop bounce off the wall. Watch him play this one perfectly. He was ready.
Bet you didn't know, Joe, he was a highlight champion in high school.
Well, he's got a good cesta out there today.
So Chris has to protect. Ball and 2 strikes. Hayward at second after a leadoff double. Rain begins to fall again. And Chris is down swinging. 5 strikeouts for Arrieta, his first since the 3rd inning. Was unable to move Hayward to third base. More pressure on the shoulders of Tommy LaStella. He's flat out and grounded out.
Hit the ball hard though his last time up, just right at Castro.
Trying to keep his 7-game hitting streak alive today. He has 11 hits in his last 29 at bats. He's really made a terrific offensive impression in limited playing time at the big league level this year. This is his 41st game with the Braves. He's 3rd in batting average, tied for 3rd in hits, tied for 3rd in multi-hit games, 2nd in on-base percentage, and 7th in total bases.
Already.
Only 40 games. This is the 93rd game of the year for Atlanta.
Well, I know I wear people out with me bragging on his approach and his patience. his still, calm demeanor at the plate. But it's worth repeating because it's so good and it's so nice to see in a young player.
Two balls and a strike. Tommy checked to swing. Now 3-1. Bethancourt next, then the pitcher's spot. With that in mind, the Braves bullpen works again.
Tommy hit some balls hard too in New York. He had a good series, 5 for 16, but remember that rocket he hit that Duda speared and robbed him of extra bases? There were a couple like that for him.
Big lead at second for Hayward. And that one bounced up the middle. There'll be one play, and it's to first. Starlin Castro makes it. Again, they had him played perfectly.
Same exact thing that happened in the 5th inning. Taking the middle of the diamond away from him, and he's hit 2 one-hop shots right at Castro.
Bethancourt, a 5-game hitting streak. 0 for 2 today. Ryan Domitz grabbed the bat. He stands on deck. Pop fly foul, strike 1. Anthony Favaro is the man loosening for the Braves. Bethancourt 3 for 5 with Risp and 2 outs. That's the situation here. Didn't get a breaking ball. It's 0-2.
He had been his best cutter of the day.
With another impressive breaking ball. The Braves got a leadoff double from Jason Hayward, but could not bring home the game-tying run. Jake Arrieta sends our game to the 7th inning stretch, and as is customary here, it's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game with Bears legend Gale Sayers.
Thank you. All right, let me hear you. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Let us root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you out at the old ball game. Let me hear you. Thank you very much.
Big cheer for Gale Sayers, legend of the Chicago Bears. And yes, the Bears used to play NFL games here at Wrigley Field. Bet fans didn't know that. That was before Soldier Field became their home on Chicago's lakefront. You talk about an intimate setting. How about this place on Chicago's north side?
So I could see the measurement at the foul pole in the background of that. Did that look like the field was foul pole to foul pole?
I've seen some pictures of how they set it up more recently. The Northwestern Wildcats played a college football game here a couple of years ago, and the field of play, Joe, went from the end zone in front of the Cubs dugout toward the right field corner.
Okay.
But from that shot, it looks like
it's going like it from the Braves dugout
the other way.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how they played it. I know a couple of years ago they did a massive overhaul of the entire playing surface here in Chicago. They took out 2 feet of dirt here, and they found the concrete stanchions, I guess, that held the goalposts in.
Is that right?
Buried underground here, yeah.
Wow.
It all rusted out. Tom, you remember that Northwestern game, don't you?
Yeah, Northwestern played Illinois here just a few years ago, and they thought it would fit in just perfectly. But when the teams showed up for their Friday walkthrough, both head coaches said, wait a second, if we run through the end zone, our guys are going to run into a brick wall. So the way they put together the game plan was that every time there was a change of possession, both teams went in the same direction on offense. That wasn't in the 60s. That was just like 3 years ago.
Yeah. I'll bet Dick Butkus once said, you know, I've been hit hard before, but the wall hit harder than the rest of the NFL. And the Bears played here. This place has had, I mean, concerts obviously more recently. Years ago during World War II, they had the U.S. National Ski Jumping Championships at Wrigley Field.
Seriously?
You know what the ski jump was? Top of the scoreboard. Ground ball hit out towards second, and LaStella with a nice play to his left. He gets Justin Ruggiano.
I mean, that's where they started.
There's a picture of it, I think, in the hallway outside our broadcast booth. But kind of fun, huh?
I love that picture, though, that football picture, because of the ivy in the background. Just really nice.
See?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's jumping toward the screen. Jumped off the roof. I had that backwards. My bad. But same general principle. You're jumping from a real high vantage point here at the ballpark.
Sure hope there was some snow down there.
Yeah. That would help. With one out, Rizzo hits. Ground ball foul. Our disappointment in Justin Upton not being selected to the All-Star game turned into joy for Anthony Rizzo, a guy that a couple of organizations have waited a long time for him to develop into an All-Star talent. We saw him years ago out in San Diego very early in his career, and he looked lost at the plate and at the field.
He was a little overmatched at that time.
Now a 20-homer man before the All-Star break.
How about that backdoor breaking ball? Beauty.
And he didn't like the call, but he's the second out. Tuesday, July 15th, speaking of the All-Star game, it'll be Target Field in Minneapolis for the All-Star game finale for the captain, Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees. It'll be a special, unforgettable, and emotional night. Our coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 All-Star game at 7:30 on Big Fox. Castro takes a strike.
Who's going to start that game for the National League, you think?
Kershaw, I guess, yeah. He's obviously cold. He's only given up 1 run in his last 50 innings or so. He might need to go somewhere else.
Plus, he pitched yesterday. He's not going to pitch again over the weekend.
Nope. He'd be a logical guy. Yeah. Castro, an infield hit, scored the 4th Cub run. That's the difference in the game. 4-3 in the 7th.
It's just a little low and short. Carpenter and Avilon if needed. Umbrellas have been needed.
Ball, 2 strikes, and Castro didn't get the high heat. Simmons has his 3rd strikeout, and in the rain in Wrigley, we go to the 8th inning. It's Chicago 4, Braves 3. It's late in Chicago where the Cubs lead the Braves in game 1 of our weekend set. 4-3 is your score. Don't miss rivalry week at Turner Field when the Braves take on the Phillies and Marlins starting Friday, July 18th through the 24th. Get out to Turner Field and support your Braves as they try to win back-to-back division titles. Get your tickets today at braves.com/tickets. Pitcher spot due first. That means Ryan Domit's going to grab a bat and hit first.
This rain that continues to fall and pick up in intensity is also cause for concern tomorrow. You mentioned that polar vortex, and while we were laughing about it, it may not be a laughing matter tomorrow.
This is our lone visit to Chicago. As that one is outside for Ryan Domit. 1 ball, no strikes. So every effort will be made to get the game in tomorrow. Last thing anybody wants is a doubleheader Sunday before the All-Star break. That would be a nightmarish situation. Ground ball towards second. Nice pickup. Alcantara, and he throws to first in time. 1 out. Fox Sports South is honoring the Braves' historic year in Cooperstown with our award-winning Driven series. 3 new 1-hour episodes highlight the unforgettable moments and untold stories of the trio of Braves inductees. Our special Driven series premieres Thursday, July 17th, starting at 7 only on Fox Sports South.
Looking forward to those.
I'm looking forward to the speeches on Hall of Fame Day. Really, that's one of the best days of the year for baseball fans. Games greats get their moment in the sun again. Talk about their life, their career, the state of the game, where they hope it'll go in the future. And the Cubs understandably very proud of Greg Maddux too.
Not too many guys have their number retired in 2 places.
Arrieta has been very economical. As you see, the Cubs bullpen begins to work. Jordan Schaefer has been on base twice today. Missed way inside. Now 3 balls, no strikes.
We mentioned that Arrieta's last 7 games, he's 4-0 with a sub-1 ERA. So counting today, his last 8 straight starts, he's pitched into the 7th inning or better in 5 of them. And he's given them some innings too.
Jordan made him throw a strike, and he did. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. The Cubs traded away Jeff Samardzija, who is thought to be their ace. They may have kept their true ace. He's pitching like one today. Jake Arrieta, 90 pitches in the 8th inning with a lead. He's got Schaefer to roll one foul for a full count.
Look at that last pitch on PNC pitch tracks. Cutter, probably not a strike, and granted, when you're reading it as a hitter, it looks like a better pitch, but it bites in on your thumbs. But 3-1, that was a tough pitch to try to connect on. Might have been ball 4.
That one was. And Schaefer's aboard for the 3rd time today. He's reached on an error. He's reached on 2 walks. And let's see how quickly he's put in play with a couple of stolen bases on the day as well.
Well, the way he's run wild on the bases, I thought it was very interesting that they would even come close to walking him. Meaning, why a borderline pitch? I know they went right back to the same 3-1 pitch that worked, but you got to make him put it in play the way he's been stealing.
Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach, will make his way to the mound and buy some more time for the Cubs bullpen. Let me ask you this from the standpoint of a base stealer. We've had pretty steady rain on this field now for the last 3-4 innings. It was pretty soggy early in the game too. Are the conditions better, worse, the same?
They're not ideal. And what happens for you as a base stealer is it cakes up in your spikes. I don't know if Terry Pendleton just went to the dugout to get a tongue depressor or not. No, just special base running gloves. But you want to make sure that as you're getting your lead that dirt's not caking up in your spikes.
And every good base runner has red base running gloves. Makes you look a lot faster.
Well, it is Friday.
That's a good call. Look at the back of the spikes. Dirt clods underneath the shoes. So Simmons 1 for 3. Schaefer, good lead at first. And he's going first move. The pitch, a strike, and no throw. Schaefer steals his 3rd base.
Did Castillo's hand hit the umpire? I didn't see him look back, but it almost, I don't know if he just didn't have a grip on the baseball or if while he was pulling his arm back, he might have hit Brian O'Nora. Good pitch to throw on. No, he just didn't. I don't think he had a grip of the baseball. Another good jump.
3-steal day for Schaefer. Now a fly ball toward left. Conklin on the run, dodges the raindrops and makes the play. So 2 outs. You might recall earlier the Cubs elected to pitch to Freddie Freeman. He made them pay with a double to straightaway center. One of 2 hits that the Braves have had today with runners in scoring position. They're 2 for 11 on the afternoon, and I think they've learned their lesson. They'll go after Justin Upton as Freeman will be intentionally walked.
Arrieta didn't mess around either on that pitch out. He aired it out. He's throwing 85 miles an hour on the pitch out.
So Justin Upton will be the hitter. Will Arrieta be allowed to continue? We will find out. It appears the answer to that question is no. So Arrieta goes 7 2/3 today. He's got a 1-run lead, but the Braves again are threatening with 2 outs in the 8th inning. We're back to Wrigley after this.
may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
One-run game on a rainy afternoon in Chicago. Jake Arrieta departs with 2 on and 2 out. He preserved a 4-3 lead to this point in the ball game. And as we promised you earlier today, we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T.
This new guy on to pitch for the Cubs, Neil Ramirez, has always been a starter in the minor leagues. He came from Texas in the Garza deal as the player to be named later. And check out his strikeouts to innings pitched and only 9 walks over that stretch. Just a 153 average against him. His fastball pretty much always a 4-seamer, not much sinking action. Low to mid 90s, good slider and a curve. And he's got a real short arm delivery too, which sometimes gives hitters fits trying to pick the ball up. It's on you quickly. 6'4", 190. Justin's due a break though. Boy, he's been hitting the ball hard at people. Maybe it's basket time.
Wouldn't mind seeing him hit like an 88 hop roller deep short. Make the Cubs handle a wet, muddy baseball too.
Okay. And that was an 86-mile-an-hour slider. That's a pretty big league right there.
1 strike for Justin. And a good stop by Castillo. Even count. Schaefer and Freeman, the runners, they were issued walks. Freeman's was intentional. And Upton tried to check his swing, and he did.
He was stopping that the whole way. Ramirez has not inherited many runners, so it looks like Renteria gives him clean innings to start. He's only inherited 3 runners so far this year, and 1 scored, and he's got 2 to deal with here.
That one almost made it to the bricks. Castillo got just enough leather on that to keep Schaefer at second base.
And a good read by Jordan. That's not an easy one to pick up. You've got to make sure, of course, with 2 out that you don't break unless you're positive. But from second base, you're not quite sure how far this one gets away. And Jordan's even thrown up a stop sign for Freddie.
Good hitters count. Let's see what Justin gets from Ramirez.
Good arm in right, good arm in center, average arm in left. Cardinals playing pretty shallow in left.
Outside corner. What a pitch.
Pitcher's pitch. And when it's 3-1, you're looking for your pitch. This was a beaut. Knee high on the corner. But he's going to have to do it again.
And the runners will be moving with a full count. 39,000 plus at Wrigley today. Runners go. And Upton didn't get a fastball. Ramirez strikes out Justin Upton, and the Braves strand 2 more in the 8th. Castillo, Lake, and Coughlin coming up. It's a 4-3 Cubs game.
The Georgia. By the Georgia Lottery, Toyota, and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
4-3 Cubs, bottom of the 8th inning here in Chicago. And the Braves go deeper into their bullpen today. Anthony Favaro will check in and become the third hurler on the afternoon. Alex Wood went 5 1/3 with 5 hits, 4 runs. Shea Simmons an inning and 2/3 scoreless with 3 strikeouts. And now Anthony Favaro on for the 39th time. For the Cubs, it'll be Castillo, Lake, and Coghlan. Castillo had one of the key at-bats in this ballgame in the 6th inning. An 0-2 pitch. Alex Wood hit him in the back. That loaded the bases and led to a 2-run inning. And the Cubs regaining a lead that they haven't given up. Castillo played 113 games for the Cubs last year and hit .274. Took that one low and outside. 2 balls and a strike. In the air to center, and Schaefer's going to grab that. And there's the first out in the Cubs' 8th. Game 2 of our series here tomorrow afternoon. Hope you'll join us for, we hope to be a pretty day for baseball. The weather forecast, flip of the coin, quite honestly. But if we get started tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Time with Braves Live, Joe, Mike Minor looks for a redeemer for the Braves against Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, he needs something good for, needs a good outing for his confidence going into the break so that he can have a good feeling about starting the second half.
That's hit toward third. Off the bat of Junior Lake. And
there were 2 balls out there.
The play is made to first, and the ball got away from the Cubs bullpen just as Chris Johnson turned that one loose across the diamond. That was weird. 2 outs. You know, when they get their renovation started and completed, this won't be a problem at Wrigley Field. You know why? The plan is to put the bullpens under the bleachers here.
That's what I heard, with a chain link fence kind of in front of them. I don't like chain link fences for ballparks, but I know everybody would be happy about getting the bullpens off the field.
Chris Coghlan 2 for 2 today.
One other note on Mike Minor. Starting tomorrow, he's 5-0 in his career against the Cubs. I believe one of his highest strikeout totals was in this ballpark.
That's the case. I think it was his rookie season.
Yeah.
Coghlan took a big cut and didn't get it. Yep, August 22nd, 2010, he struck out 12 at Wrigley Field. So I hope more of the same for Minor tomorrow. But got to worry about a 9th inning comeback first. It's only a 1-run game with Coghlan.
Yes, he did.
Right. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
An easy one. He knew it.
popped up. That's over the Cubs bullpen foul. Another 1-2 pitch is coming.
What was he looking at? Wasn't even that close. Things got so rough for Chris Coughlin, health-wise, spending some time in the minor leagues, a lot of games. 2012, 84 games at AAA versus 39 in the big leagues. Had some injury things, but he was a free agent. Cubs signed him as a free agent in January. Marlins have cut him loose.
Look at the teams that have been needing outfield help and how much this guy could have helped them this year. The Mets come to mind immediately. He's had a good run with the Cubs. 3 up, 3 down for Bavaro in the home 8th. We go to the 9th. Last call for the Braves. Hayward, Chris Johnson, and Tommy La Stella in a 4-3 game. After 8, time to take a peek at our Subway box score for the Braves.
Boy, Jordan Schaefer filling in for B.J. Upton today did a great job. Got on base with 2 walks, reached on an error, also put down a good sacrifice bunt, and he's stolen 3 bases. Got caught stealing once, too, in the first inning. That was kind of hurtful. The Braves rally in the first, but top of the order, guys getting some hits, driving in some runs. Now it's going to be up to the middle of the order to get it done in the 9th.
And it's up to us to answer the AT&T U-verse trivia question. Who holds the Atlanta Braves franchise record for most career hits at Wrigley Field?
I'm going to say Andrew Jones.
I'm going to say Hank Aaron. Sorry, Murph.
Another outfielder, though. We're close.
Yes, we were. 85 hits for Dale Murphy. And 11 saves for Hector Rondon. Braves need a 9th inning rally. They're down a run.
This guy throws hard. 11 out of 13 in saves. Throws hard. Boy, that's a really big shocker. Mid to high 90s with his fastball. Upwards of 98. Slider. And what's not fair is that he, as hard as he throws, he'll still throw a cutter too.
He's trying to do something for the Cubs today that's been awfully rare for them. That is win a one-run game. Entering today's play, the Cubs are 8-15 in one-run decisions. The Braves are 17-11.
Back-to-back wins for them too after rallying to win yesterday.
Two balls and a strike for Jason Hayward. And low, 3-1. Five different men on the Cubs' current roster have saves this year. Rondon has the most. He's got 11 of their 18 as a team. And a shot hammered toward left center field. That ball is going to be down and up against the fence. A collision between Lake and Coughlin, and Hayward will stop at second base. Almost a miraculous catch and almost disaster for the Cubs outfield. But Hayward has a double to start the Atlanta ninth.
Two scalded doubles to left center. 3-1 pitch from the hard thrower, and again right in his wheelhouse, and he just raked it. Diving effort by Junior Lake. He takes out Coughlin, but they both recovered in time to keep Jason at second base and limit him to a double. Great start to the inning.
Now the Braves fans start to do the chop and the chant for Chris Johnson's up. And he lines one to short, and it's caught by Castro.
Kidding me?
If he hits it a foot closer to the second base bag, the Braves are in business.
Well, he struck out last time up when Jason had led off with a double, and Hayward was eventually left at second base, trying to get him over, hit it right on the button, and got robbed. Two hard hit balls off Rondon already, though.
Back-to-back leadoff doubles for Jason Hayward today. He's still at second for La Stella, who pokes one toward first. Rizzo to a knee. He'll win the race to the bag. 2 out.
I was just looking at, we were talking about the Cubs earlier, Chip, about how they had played well at home. They played well against the East. I was looking at team-by-team matchups. They're 4-2 against Miami. They're 3-0 against the Mets. They're 3-3 with Philadelphia, and they are 3-4 with Washington. They've played really well against teams outside their division.
Braves 2 for 14 today with runners in scoring position. Bethancourt the final hope. Hot shot, base hit. The kid comes through and he ties the game.
How about them apples?
Told you earlier he was 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He's 4 for 7 after that.
And first pitch, too. Another hard hit ball. This is 4 this inning off Rondon. Fastball, middle of the plate, knee high. And this time, Starlin Castro can't get to it. What a clutch effort by the kid.
So Ramiro Pena will pinch hit for Anthony Favaro. The Braves down to their last out in the 9th inning, tie it up.
4 pitches, 4 Rockets.
The seemingly eternal search for a closer in Chicago has continued here.
It's been a long time since Lee Smith.
Myers and Joe Borowski and Kerry Wood and Ryan Dempster. And they've gone through a bunch of them over the years. Who can forget Carlos Marmol?
A lot of people around here would like to.
1 ball, no strikes for Ramiro Pena. Nothing caught at first. And a strike. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Cubs will have Valbuena, the pitcher's spot, and then Alcantara. Swing and a miss. Castillo can't find the ball, recovers and fires in time, and that retires the side. But boy, they hit Rondon awfully hard. A leadoff double and a tying hit by Bethancourt sends us to the 9th, 4-4.
Georgia Power. Baseball is presented by Georgia Power, The Home Depot, and Blimpie, celebrating 50 years.
Christian Bethancourt with a game-tying hit in the top of the 9th inning. Now the Cubs are up to face Jordan Walden in a 4-4 game. I hope you'll join us for the Braves and Padres Sunday, July 27th at Turner Field. The gates will open early for a very special viewing party. Join us at 1 o'clock to watch Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, and Bobby Cox make their induction speeches in Cooperstown, New York on Braves Vision. Don't miss this memorable moment in Braves history, Sunday, July 27th. All who attend will get a limited edition Hall of Fame poster. For more information, go to Braves.com today.
Jordan Walden pitched last night, and he's been pitching great, but he needed a little help last night because he walked the leadoff hitter and also gave up a base hit, but no runs. Thanks to Craig Kimbrell coming in and putting out the fire. Get that leadoff guy here.
So Valbuena, then Ryan Sweeney in the top of the order for Chicago. Walden gets ahead with a strike. Valbuena took over in the home 6th for the Cubs. He drew the bases loaded walk that brought home Starlin Castro, gave the Cubs a 4-3 lead. Tough break for Arrieta. No chance to win it. Great news for Alex Wood. He's off the hook for the loss. It's a battle of the bullpens. If that's the case, you like your chances if you're the Braves. 1-2.
Well, that changeup has been good to left-handed hitters.
Little roller, and Walden will flip to first in time. Valbuena's retired. Good start in the bottom of the ninth. So will be Ryan Sweeney.
One for 9. He's a pinch hitter on the year.
Sweeney, another Cub that's been disabled. He missed some time with a hamstring strain. Sweeney, a hotter bat. 8 hits in his last 25 at bats, including a home run Tuesday off Johnny Cueto.
Again, the changeup.
And a strike. Popped up deep short. Simmons on the run. He goes to a slide as Justin Upton came barreling in, and the Braves outfielder makes the grab, and good job by Simmons to stop, drop, and roll.
Hit the turf. Nice job by Justin to not be distracted by what was going on right at his feet, basically. Keep his eye on the baseball and make the play.
Have retired 10 consecutive Cubs. Now Alcantara bats. Takes low. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Braves are 3-0 against Chicago so far this year. They're trying to steal one in game 1 at Wrigley today. Ground ball is through for a 2-out hit. I have to go back and look at the replay of this, but I thought I saw a rooster tail of water on that ball through the grass.
Might have been. Good pitch. He just won that battle by finding a hole, but with 2 out, almost certainly he will be running.
25 steals in the minors.
21 at AAA.
Plate for Justin Ruggiano. Just a tick or 2 past 6 o'clock Central Time in Chicago. The Braves and Cubs meeting for the first time this weekend. Final 3 games before the All-Star break. The Braves trying to pick up their 51st win of the season. Runner goes. He got a great jump. Bethencourt almost picked off Jordan Walden with that throw. So the winning run at second for the Cubs with 2 outs.
Bethencourt had no chance. Takes a while for Jordan to get unfurled. And he almost got nailed with his throw. Well, what a stop. And then look out.
be careful with Ruggiano. 2 balls, no strikes. Line drive, foul. That would have ended it. On a harmless strike. It's a 2-1 count. Ruggiano 0 for 2 with a strikeout against Walden in his career. He's still ahead in the count here in the 9th. Ground ball. Simmons can't get it. Alcantara around third. He's going to score, and the Cubs walk off in the 9th.
Simmons is slow to get up. He had just moved a step to his right to try to get in the hole after that ball had been pulled in the corner, and he gave everything he had laying out to try to knock that ball down. He got leather on it, but despite the fact that he had moved over to try to take the hole away, it wasn't enough.
So Ruggiano, another Braves killer, does it again today with a 2 RBI afternoon. He brings home Alcantara with the game-winning run, and the Cubs have their first victory over the Braves in 2014. Today's final: Chicago 5, Atlanta 4. We're back to Wrigley after this.